Hey, what is up? It is Dan McDonald, and I'm going to be honest with you, I do not feel like going into the Life Regenerator character today. I'm very mellow. I just did a 10-mile hike this morning, barefoot in the sun, and I'm very hot. So I'm kind of like, you know how you get so hot? So this juice will do me some good. This is a juice for mental health crisis in America and in the world. I'm not going to go into the politics. I saw everything yesterday. It's sad. It's sad what, we've become. I was going to say half of society has become, but I just got to lump us all in there. And I know you'll probably say, well, it's not me. And if you're one of those people that's decent and kind, but there is, and they've ran a incredibly successful psyop, particularly on the American people. I know that other countries are having their issues too. I love America. I'm glad to be here. I think America's awesome, but I just have an in general positive attitude. It's something I've cultivated over a long period of time. I'm not saying I'm some kind of saint or something like that, but I just feel like one of the things that's helped me is to try to just keep coming back to being grateful, to trying to give the other guy a break, to try not to even get online and see what I saw yesterday with the conspiracy theories and the hate and like he deserves it and all this other stuff. And it's just, that's a mental health crisis brought to you by what I refer to sometimes as the globalist media. There's a planet. Is it flat? Is it round? Is it oval? Is it square? Let's have that argument some other day. I really don't care, to be honest with you. Because it doesn't matter, really. Like, your happiness does not depend on the shape of the earth. But if you don't want to face your stuff, arguing over flat earth or round earth, that can take your whole life. You can argue about religion. You can argue about diets. That'll take you away from having to deal with your crap. You can argue about politics. You can do anything to look outside yourself and avoid what's going on inside of you. And if you do that, it'll work for a while, because the drugs will work for a while. The promiscuous sex will work for a while. Chasing money will work for a while. But then all those things end up in misery. And I've seen it all too many times before, because if you have hundreds of millions of dollars and you're still miserable, guess what? Money was not the solution. If you've had sex with hundreds of partners and you're still empty, that ain't working either. And going out and projecting all your unresolved issues onto people who have different political views, dietary views, religious views, then you're going to always be going outwards. And then you're never going to have to look at yourself. And then eventually, the dam is going to break. So what we try to do is everything under the sun to avoid having to sit there and track through our own trudge. Because that's the subconscious. Now, a lot of people, they don't know what I'm talking about. They're like, I had good parents, I had good nutrition, and they have a good, they're fine. Other people though, most of us, and the vast majority of humanity has stuff to really let go of more than anything else. Just release. Feel it to heal it, see it to release it. You see what I'm saying? You can decide whether or not you can hold on to it, but as long as it's operating in the subconscious, which is the huge part of the iceberg below the water. Our coaches, our nutritionists, our financial coaches, our religious gurus and spiritual teachers, they're all tip of the iceberg people, man. And you're painting over rust, and you're cajoling all this. And then if you could just, but that's, in the end, it just doesn't work. Because what's happening is that the programs below the surface of the conscious mind are operating with your relationships, with your finances, your relationship blueprint. I'm not lovable, or these things never work out, or whatever that program is. Finances, we never have enough. Ooh, that's pricey. That's my least favorite statement in the world. Ooh, that's pricey. Ooh, that means you're just constricting instead of, hey, awesome. It's worth the money. I'll get the money. See, it's like open or closed with the money, you know? And the more you let it out, that's the wide door that lets it in. Because that's just what money is it's like that. But if you try to cling to it, because it's going to slip away, you know? Oh, God, you're holding on to it so tight, right? It's just like what comes, comes, what goes, goes. And the more you can let it come and go, that just keeps the door wide open. Same thing with relationships, and same thing with the spiritual stuff. You'll have revelations, and you got to let go of the concepts of the religious beliefs that you had that maybe got you to a certain point. Now you got to let go of those concepts, otherwise they're clogging up your new revelations. So in our world today, you get stuck on a niche market, and then you have to repeat the same mantras over and over again. You have to sell your program as being the one and only way that works. But what you do is you trap people into maybe they're even golden bars, a prison, you know, with fluffy pillows and a big TV set. But you're still not free from the trammels of the undigested subconscious gremlins, energetic parasites, telling you you're not good enough, telling you it's too pricey, ooh, we can't afford that, we don't have enough. Whatever the program is, or Jesus is going to burn you up if you do things that feel good. And 100 trillion other little memes and slogans and programs that we've all been brainwashed with by the very people who those slogans and programs and memes and one-liners and belief systems, it didn't work for them. And now they try to pass it on to you, and then you say, well, wait a minute, it never worked for you. This diet never worked for you because you're trying to cram it down. How can you have your meat if you don't eat your pudding, you know? And it's like, listen, but you're looking at your mom and your dad, they're like 100 pounds overweight or whatever. Like, I want to try something different, you know? So anyways, what does that have to do with mental health? It's like, if you don't face it, it's going to eat you up inside. And now in our social media stratosphere, everything is, it's a spoonful of pudding makes the medicine go down, medicine go down, medicine go down, spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go round in the most delightful social media way. And everything is so perfect, all the perfect curated lives, it makes me sick. But it's also going to destroy them. You know, the people who, they have 175 chances to get it right, but in real life you only get one. So that's why you know, you can get the shot just right, the lighting just right to get those little rolls to go away or to get that cellulite out of the shot. And then in real life, he's like, man, I saw 100 pictures of you online and you didn't have no cellulite, and now you got cellulite. You're not the person I thought you were. Ad infinitum, on and on and on and on. And so we're losing real life. So we're having a crisis, and the social media is not helping. And the media is not helping, the globalist media. And the fact that the First Amendment is being wiped away for those voices who wish to share things other than the official narrative, to keep the people and their brains and society on the narrow tracks with which the despots would like to control your mind. Now me, like I said before, I came out of my mom's vagina with both of my fingers up. That's just the kind of person I am. And I am forever grateful to God for, giving me a chance to be that. But that just means that I'm an old soul that's been through all this before. And I came here for a very specific purpose. And I don't have time to waste with all the falsehood. I just don't. Other people have lifetimes to burn with the spiritual circus, with the dietary circus, with the political circus, and avoiding themselves. I have found that the only real joy is facing yourself and trying your level best to clean up your own subconscious iceberg so that at least you can understand the programs that are there. Then you can quit banging your head against the wall and feeling miserable and embracing those programs. And maybe through embracing them and reparenting yourself, you can create, a better scenario. The only thing I can say that's really worked is that I've created a lot more peace for myself. Not perfect. I get down a little bit. Not really depressed like I used to. So I've changed my gut. You know how you're supposed to make these videos and be done in like 5 minutes or 8 minutes, and I just can't do that. I just told all those stories because I think for those who need it, you have a picture of how that subconscious iceberg below the water is controlling your life. And I haven't met too many people. Some people can give you a little lip service, but there's not that many people, and everyone says, well, I've already done all that. Everyone says that to me, almost, except for the most enlightened people. They're like, yes, there is more potential to let go and let God and completely put your heart on the plate and just hand it over to God, the universe, source, benevolence, divine guidance, the truth, love, peace, the absolute, the infinite, Jehovah, whatever you want to call it. You just take your own heart out of your chest and you put it on a plate and you give it to God and you say, God, you do it. Let go of the clinging and the aversion. And then you can just let the story run itself out. And it becomes an adventure of awakening. Instead of, okay, I have to get this money and I'm going to kill myself to get it. I've got to live this certain lifestyle because I've found this niche with people and now I've got to just cling to it until I'm dead. I've seen it all in this, 25 years on living foods and thousands of consults. I've seen it all. Things that I'm not allowed to really even share. My point is that most of the nutritionists have no clue because they're going to keep you on their thing until you're dead because they had a better childhood or they have different genes or they have a different perspective or microbiome, and then because they think what works for them works for everyone. And everyone is very uniquely different. And so they have all these, this is okay and this isn't. But you have to let the divine guidance, show you the way of the various multiple tools that you have at your disposal at different venues and different stages of your life. And so it is beyond open-minded. In fact, it goes so far that the mind disappears, but that's more like a spiritual thing, and I'm trying to kind of keep it practicable, which obviously none of this is. It's all philosophical. What could I say works for me on the practical level? That's probably what I should have went into, but these videos, I just do what I do. I don't know where it comes from. I don't even know why, but I have learned that sometimes on these videos where I start criticizing, this is ridiculous, because I understand it. I don't need to talk about it to myself. I'm sweating so hot because the sun was so hot. But maybe other people need to hear And then if you want to get over your own mental health issues, you know, that has to do with diet, sleep, lifestyle, you know, and making sure you're not being an asshole. That's the biggest thing on the internet. It's like anyone can be an asshole. They can think, they did this whole thing for years. And then I've seen people, they're like, they've been eating fruit, or they've been eating raw for like a few months. And then they start just talking down to people. Or they've even been raw for a couple of years. And then they stand up on their soapbox and they're like, you losers, you're all a bunch of murdering, psychopathic losers. You know, because they've had a little bit of luck and a little bit of grace for a couple of years. And so they haven't had that where God goes like this. Boom! And just blasts your fucking head into a smithereens. And your life goes to shit because your wife just leaves you all of a sudden out of the blue. Or your mom and your dad get sick at the same time. And now you're trying to hold it all together, and they're like, you are a low-level piece of shit because you can't keep your diet together while you're working 18 hours a day, wiping both your parents' butts. That they have no compassion, they have no understanding, so they're morons. And I was probably that way too, so please forgive me. You don't know about nobody but your own damn self. So my advice is don't be a dick. I can be a dick, but I refrain because I see the stuff I see online, the people that are celebrating death, the people that are celebrating the murder, and then all the conspiracy nuts too. I'm a conspiracy theorist, but they're like, everything is fake. All the deaths are fake, Donald Trump is a robot, you know, all this other crap. I don't even want to mention any names because I don't want to milk that. Other people that get on there, somebody gets shot and they milk it for a couple of days. And they act all sad and stuff just to get views and stuff. And I could have done that yesterday, but I just don't want to do that. I want to stay in my own lane. And I want to keep the politics out of it because I'm very political. You know, I'm absolutely stoked. At least for a little bit longer, and then we'll see, do we go back to communism or do we stay a free nation? I don't know. You know, we'll see. It looks like the majority is kind of starting to wake up to what's going on, you know. But we're divided because some are aligned with truth and half are aligned with falsehood. So it's like a half and half, you know. So good luck to everyone. I would say align yourself with truth. Things go a hell of a lot smoother. In fact, they always work out. You'll always have more than enough. And so there's no reason to hate men. There's no reason to hate white people. There's no reason to hate testosterone or masculinity. There's no reason to hate conservatives. There's no reason to hate Democrats. You know, there's no reason to hate anybody. Because really, when you hate, you kill yourself. Because there's only just the one. So when you hate, you just poisoned your own blood. You see what I'm saying? You know, when you hate, you just kill yourself. So sad for them, right? That's why I don't hate anybody, man. I'm just saying, a lot of people be acting like assholes on the internet, but no one would do that in real life. And here's the other thing about mental health. Remember this, 17 years I've been online every single day. I've had everything cast at me that you can imagine. And guess what? Only online. In real life, never once had one single person ever walked up to me on the street and ever said one negative thing about me in 17 years. So it's a bunch of keyboard warriors with no real courage in real life. And none of this is real. So that's the one thing you gotta learn. Maybe this is real if you take some of the cilantro and you wash your colon out and you start feeling better, then you say, okay, Dan McDonald, a little bit of real. It's a little bit real because I just started drinking some fresh juice, blasting some enzymes, and I started feeling better. Word. I'm trying to keep this Google AdSense thing going. I don't even know if I said anything today. I've had some of the hardest times of my life recently, but it drove me to I couldn't go crazy. I mean, I did have a dark night of the soul, so I was in bed for a few months. And I've lost my motivation, to be honest with you, except that Google AdSense money and trying to keep these bills paid, because I really appreciate this little apartment in the middle of the jungle. I just want to be left alone. I got a meditation cushion, you know what I'm saying? And I got a bed on the floor. I sleep on a mattress topper, and nobody bothers me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I want it to be. I don't want to deal with the government. I don't want these fools up in my business. I don't want to deal with no crazy ass fools. And so I'm not trying to be a dick myself. I'm just trying to be like, yo, love. And I'm not talking about like, I love you. It's just like goopy, stupid crap. It's more like respect. Because I know that you're from the same source. You know? So that's what the other people that are like putting everyone down is they haven't realized that yet, that there's only the one. And they are a reflection of you. So when you're pissed, you're only pissed at yourself. When you hate Donald Trump, you only hate your own inner Donald Trump. And people are not smart enough to get that. But if you're smart enough to understand that, then you're very well on your way to breaking free from all of this. If you understand that you hate Donald Trump because you can't stand to look at your own inner Donald Trump, and many of you might not agree with me, and you're gonna unsubscribe. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't give a fuck. Not one flying fuck. Adios, amigo. You were never gonna get this anyways, because if you don't get that Donald Trump, your own inner Donald Trump needs to be dealt with, you need to look, because you'll be like, no way, I would never. But oh yes, it is. Donald Trump brings up everything in you don't want to see about yourself. And when you have done the deep dive on yourself, nobody bothers you. Even these clowns from downtown that hate everyone because they ate some cheese at their grandma's house. Or the raw vegans that hate you for eating olive oil or taking enzymes. Or the carnivores that hate you for eating a piece of fruit in the middle of summer when it's hot. When everyone hates everyone else because they're not living the fucking same exact way as you, this is madness. And that would explain 2222. That would explain the mental health crisis. Because God didn't make anyone like you. And they don't need to think like you at all. Shouldn't they think and see things the way they want to? Sure, let the media brainwash them. Their life is gonna suck because they're gonna be wearing like 4 face diapers and getting every booster that comes along, and then, well, what happened? I wonder. And if you're aligned with truth, you're like, I'm gonna breathe. I'm not gonna blap. I'm not gonna eat Bill Gates' food. I'm not gonna go get on a bunch of pharmaceutical drugs and shrink my nutsack up. I'm gonna keep the testosterone pumping through my body. You know, and I'm not gonna fall for any of this crap. I'm gonna go outside and do what I did this morning. I just got up, walked out the door, left the phone right here where the plug-in is out here. I don't take it in the room anymore. It's just right here. I leave it all out here. This is where the little Wi-Fi is, and I go way the hell away from the Wi-Fi, away from the phone, left the phone, went out the door, went for a 4-hour hike. My feet are sore. No phone, no problem. Clear your mind. Get away, get the sun, get the air, you know? Walk. I saw goats, wild goats. And I was like, they were running away, and I said, hey, stop. And they turned around and stopped. And I broke down some branches, and I said, come and get this. They almost came to me, but they were wild, so they were really wild. And I was just, because I know how goats and sheep think. They're like, they want to come and get that snack that was up high that they can't get, so I ripped the branch down. But anyways, I saw the goats, then I saw the seals, and when you see these animals, then I saw a turtle, and then I saw the horses, and then the guy was doing a little horse tour, and I was naked, walking along the beach, and he saw me, and I saw him, and I know, I see him out there all the time doing the horse tours at Invisible Beach. I put my shorts back on, and he was like, You know, he knows I like to walk around out there naked, but his customers on the horses and stuff, they don't want to see some white dude with a huge, you know, thing hanging down and wonka, 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 you know. And anyhow, it's been a great day. I'm very grateful. That's the key to mental health, is being grateful. And just be grateful and be happy, and try to get sober if you can. That's one thing that really does help. And then you have to face yourself. You have to face the pain. Mommy and daddy couldn't love you, you know, and they wanted you to be on drugs because you were broken and sad. And now you're still alone, so it doesn't solve everything. But, you know, maybe if I continue on this journey, which I'm on it 100%, balls to the wall, fully invested in doing what I'm telling you, so I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I'm sitting here, like, I do meditate a substantial amount of time. Not that that's your path, but sitting still, doing nothing, and looking at yourself and just allowing what's in there to come up so you can see it is the miracle in and of itself. And then you can begin to understand, oh, I'm just projecting that onto the world. And then you begin to see the whole world is your creation. The universe is in you. And so you can begin the process of extricating all those things that are like, I hate white people, I hate men, I hate everyone that doesn't think exactly like me, I hate carnivores, I hate vegans, I hate everyone, I hate men, I hate women, I hate white people, I hate black people, I hate Democrats, I hate Republicans, I hate. It's a hate fest out there, but that's because it's a low consciousness. And the higher consciousness is like, I'm cool, you know. Now, these words and stuff, you may not understand everything or agree with everything I'm saying. That's fine. I don't either. Silence is the real message. Silence is the real truth. But that inner silence. And then all this stuff goes away. There's nothing there but pure, divine peace. Forever. Prior to birth, during the whole time, and then after death. That was the real self. That was the real truth. And that real self, that God, light, truth, peace, lightless light, absolute, infinite, divine, is the same as everything and everyone as it permeates all that is. So you might think it's contradictory for me to be all mad as hell about all these rogues running around that are cretins. You know? But I understand, because we get sucked into these niche markets, and then you have to put people down to make yourself feel better. And if I did that, I apologize. I'm not really trying to do that. I'm just saying, don't be like those people. You don't need the soapbox. Be a master. And don't get sucked into social media, because then you'll be like me and you'll have to use words and you'll piss everyone off and they'll take everything, they won't understand it. Then they'll leave all this stuff and they'll be, I disagree with you. And I'm like, oh, those are just words. It's not really real. Get the essence of it. And the essence of it is, don't be a dick, because you're just projecting your own unresolved issues onto the world anyways. So if you have any problem with the world, go look in the mirror and find the solution right there. And if you can't do that, then you're not mature enough to really evolve anyways, and we're not going to be able to be on a level. You want to blame everyone else for the way you're seeing it? You don't have the ability to perceive, so you're pissed at these other people that are doing different things than you, eating differently than you, thinking differently than you, worshiping God differently than you, different skin color than you, different political affiliation, different geographical location. We're talking about low-level stuff here, and what we're trying to do is get to a higher level as much as possible. I didn't even make the recipe today. So I'm just trying to get the Google AdSense. I'm trying to help. I don't know if any of this means anything to anyone. I'm happy to quit now that I've got my YouTube channel back, Life Regenerator. I'm happy to quit. I still haven't even made a video over there. You know, I gotta make a video, but I gotta go real slow because I'm still in shock and awe that Google gave me my shit back. And if that happens, I might even be able to go back to doing like 80-20, where you do 80% content, 20% marketing instead of 100% marketing, which is more like, you know, 60-70% marketing. And then, because I just don't have I have to get every little opportunity I can. But if you have a larger audience, you don't need to market as much to be able to have a roof over your head and be able to maintain the lights. so you can make the videos and afford the produce to make the show go on, you know? And so I've been grinding for the last 3 years ever since they took it, because I'm a white dude, high testosterone, truth teller, never gonna take no anything into my arm, never would put that into my kids, you know. My grandkids are totally unblapped and they're running on all 8 cylinders, and then you see the other kids are like, oh, we just took them in for their, well, baby visit. And the kids have black bags under their eyes that are down to the floor, and they're crying and snot's running out their nose, and they've got earaches, immune problems, lymphatic problems, behavioral problems, and it's like, well, I wonder what caused that. We can't talk about that though, because that's their golden cash cow, to dumb everyone down and make you sick, to make you a customer for life, give you ADD and autism, sudden infant death syndrome, now sudden adult death syndrome. Brain dead simple to understand the science behind it. I can't explain it, but I studied it in depth for many, many years and was absolutely fascinated by it, because I had to learn that for myself, because when I was a kid, I got the damage. And that's all I've ever dealt with. And that's the reason why I did all the drugs and had mental issues, because of the inflammation in my head. And the only thing that would calm it down was either A, having sex with a woman, B, alcohol, 3, weed. Then I finally learned, okay, if I neutralize the inflammation with the fresh juice, then I can function. And if I fast, I can get it out of there one chunk at a time. You see? And so that's what brought me to being the life regenerator, is the one thing they will not allow me to talk about. But I learned a lot about God, about nutrition, the physical organism, healing, fasting, detox, which they also don't want me talking about. Every platform has been sending me messages. You have an eating disorder. We're worried about you. We took this video down. We take all this shit down because you have an eating disorder, because you're telling people that you went 40 days with nothing. And I do it all the time when no one's looking. And I try to be just slick about it, because I don't even want to talk about those moments. It was something that was an ego trip when you're on but I want to do it I'm doing it for myself, because I want to connect with God, and I want to detox my body after all these years of all this shit that's just raining on us out of the sky, and all the food is just death. I went to the mainland, it's like, no wonder everyone's fat. No wonder everyone's miserable. They hardly ever eat a stitch of real food. And really, if you take this off a tree that I, grew myself, and I take this, which a farmer grew, which is organic, just cilantro, which just detoxifies the heavy metals out of your head, and then you take the coconut water that I, get out of the coconuts myself, there's no poisons, then this has no poisons, and then this has the potential for picking up some crap out of the sky, but it's pretty damn pure here, and they don't spray anything on these herbs. And then you take the fresh non-poisonous, and you just clean all this stuff out. So I'm gonna do another shorter video. I'll post this. I mean, dude, if I had my druthers, I would just shut the fuck up and never say nothing. But see, people can dig it, because I'm a decent dude, I really know less now than when I started, to be honest. I'm like, I don't know, man. Because it's just like, sometimes foods are, okay, let me see here. It seems like after all these years of like, food is bad for you. Well, you mean like the bad food, right? I'm like, even the good shit, it's just like, oh, weird, It's just, you gotta find a sweet spot, And I don't know, man, it's really, I feel like I'm just like, we're so much more. We're so much more than the influencers with their little niche markets. We're these infinitely complex. We're the most complex organism on this planet, our cerebral spinal system particularly. Our glands and lungs and reproductive organs are very similar to everything else, but the size of our brain, it would be a miracle if we used some of it. We don't. And it's going to probably get worse and worse with AI. We're just going to turn into a bunch of zombie cretins. But while we're here, it's nice to have our brains, my brain, working a little tiny bit left, just to have one last see you later, everyone. The AI is going to take over. We're all going to be a bunch of transhumans running around. The depopulation is going to pick up. They haven't been doing very well. I mean, the human beings are like these cockroaches. They just can't get rid of us, you know? Because you know how cockroaches are. They're just hardy sons of bitches. But I did find this out, though, that the centipedes and the cockroaches, which are both very hardy, I think the cockroaches are even hardier than the centipedes. But the centipedes, they come crawling through here every once in a while, because you live here, you just get centipedes, and they bite your asses. So I know Jesus is like, don't hurt my creatures, but I'm also like, yo, these centipedes got to go. I made peace with the big-ass spiders, okay? But I cannot make peace with them centipedes, because those sons of bitches, they bite you, and that's there for weeks. And I don't want them crawling on me at night. So I use these essential oils, and they make it just a little ways. They crawl across some essential oils, and adios, amigo. Now, my apartment smells like a spa. I clean the floor. You could eat off my floor any given day of the week. I vacuum. I use the essential oils. It kills the centipedes. Can you dig it, baby? The oatmeal, that's for the chickens. You know, you're all wondering, is your colon clogged up? Or oatmeal for the oatmeal demonstration again for the enzymes. So I'm going to do another video. This one was, I didn't even do any marketing. It's a miracle. But no, the marketing is amazing because I've got the best stuff from Pyridine. And I'm blasting people with it. And they're like, I can finally poop again. Or they're just not able to change their diet. And so they take the enzymes before and after a meal, and they just feel better because they digest and utilize their food a little bit more. So I'm so glad that I've got the enzymes because I use it for energy myself, you know. And I just keep on going. So and that's part of my mental detox protocol as well, because I got shafted, man, when I was a little kid from every which angle. I'm not claiming victim or anything like that. It's just like, you know, it made me on a life mission to see if I could, you know, get a little bit better. And I have gotten a little bit better, you know. And mostly I've learned to just not be too much of a dick. I don't want to be one of these soapbox people. I would punch them in the head if they did that in real life, but nobody will. It's an online thing, and you can get half the people to agree with you at any given time, and it's all this sensationalism. I'm better than you because I don't eat such and such, blah, blah, blah. No matter whatever side you think, but I'm just like, I don't think your food makes you better than anybody else. That's just my crazy belief. You know, I know that that's crazy, that you think that food makes you better than everyone else. Some kind of food is more spiritual than the other. Some type of anything is more spiritual than anything else. Because you'll get to a point where you'll be like, wow, nothing is more spiritual than anything else. It's all God. I mean, it'll knock you back. And then you'll be like, what the hell am I supposed to say? You know, it's like, then you're like, hello everyone, language is dualistic. I know half of you hate me for what I've said on this thing, but hey, if it was really up to me, I would just sit in the corner, silently smile at you and not say anything so that there wouldn't be any confusion at all, because the words are dualistic and however you frame them. In other words, I could have just said, hey everyone, it's Dan McDonald, love everyone. Love yourself and like, look at yourself, you know. I don't know. There's no way, there's no words. Words don't work. They're the worst form of communication. And yet that's my job. So, welcome to Clown World, folks, and my, you know, conundrum here. Words suck, but they also can be helpful at times, and maybe a little entertaining from Dan McDonald sometimes in 30 minutes or whatever, and then you're like, well, you got some Google AdSense, right? And I'm like, you got me a penny for watching this video, so thank you. And those pennies add up. And at the end of the month, I can get me a bundle of cilantro paid for by Google. Oh, I'm gonna post it anyways. If you guys think I'm nuts, I'll just go back to being like, hi, Dan McDonald. I'm gonna tell you everything that's politically correct, which is, do what your underlords tell you. They're the arbiters of truth. Hate everyone who disagrees with you. They're all racist. fascist Nazis kill everyone. No, don't even say that, because I mean that's not even a good joke. It's just that they want to kill your free speech. They want to kill you for being different than them. And that's why we're living in Psycho Planet, because we have a serious situation with mental health. And it's brought on by the media, the globalists, the food, the brainwashing, the psyops. You know, MK Ultra, just keeping humanity dumbed down from their potential, which is out in the sunlight, naked, bare feet, eating the God food, loving the God life. Is there a God woman out there for me? Send me a DM. Slide in my DMs, baby. I love you guys. Peace.